Welcome to another episode, Setting Change Pod, episode 5. Beanz here, we got Jay here, and as you can see, we got another special guest on today. We got two-time champ Gabe. How's everybody feeling this morning?
Feeling
So
good, feeling good. It's Friday.
I'm
good.
good, man. Good to have you, champ.
So that's what I like to hear.
Appreciate it, fellas.
So let's jump right in. You got the trophy in the background. We heard through the grapevine that you are now the only two-time champ in the old league. So talk to us about that. How that happened?
Well, it's like it happens anytime that I give away all my picks the previous season. It just feels like I don't know. I honestly think when I have less picks, like the way I prepare for the draft, like is different than when you have all your picks. Like I had to be so meticulous each round, like with who I wanted to grab because the early rounds, like I'm limited. So the way I approached the draft, like I literally had guys like every single round, like, all right, if these are the three or four guys that if they're available in this round, I'm taking them. And some of them might have been like values, or some of them might have been reaches, but like preparing that way helped me, right? Like if there was a guy that I didn't think was available in the fourth round, and then it comes to my pick in the sixth, then I kind of it just kind of helped me map out. And then there was guys, right, like high, maybe some high risk. Like Lamar was a high risk, high reward guy that I drafted, even though I had bad experiences with Lamar in the past, but I was just like, quarterbacks were dwindling, and I was looking at not having a pick for the next two rounds. So I was just like, you know what, I got to take Lamar here. And he was like my third pick, and he ended up, MVP season. So, that helped out.
Yeah, so I just got two more questions. I'm gonna throw it to Jay. So I'm hearing that you finishing off Casey in the championship is what led him to leave the league. So I just want you to speak to that.
Yeah, man, I had to retire that man. He appears he makes a lot of appearances in the championships, but he just can't get it done, man. Can't get the job done. Four-time loser, and I had the pleasure of doing it twice. So everybody says, "Oh yeah, Casey, he's consistent, but he's consistently not enough in the big game." You know what I'm saying? So um, I just know when I show up, I get the job done. I come ready to get the job done, and yeah, man, we here.
You are a
Wait,
funny guy.
are you 2-2 in chips? You're 2-2, right?
No, I'm 2-0. I'm 2-0 in championship.
I mean two. I didn't mean two, like 2-2. I mean like you 2 for 2. Like yeah, you
Yeah,
undefeated in the chips.
yeah, and both of them was against my man Casey, man. He lost four times, and I half of that was me.
I think
They were
he lost the ship to everybody on right now. I know I beat him in the ship. Is that who you beat, Jay, or you beat somebody else?
I beat Stoll.
Gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha,
you beat
I beat I
Austin. Yeah.
beat I beat Casey. I think it was the second round. I beat Casey in the final four.
gotcha. So actually, I'm gonna throw it to you right now. You said I think you had a question that you had said you wanted to ask him earlier.
Yeah. Now I got a couple. I got two questions. So hold on. Who was your best pick this year with your limited picks? Who do you think was your best pick?
My best pick. Um, I would probably have to say, man, I gotta kind of look back because I had some late round picks that ended up being like
I talked to
every
you. I talked
day.
to you a little bit during the season. I know you had Laporte. I don't. Did you draft Laporta or did you pick him up in?
No, no, Laporta was definitely a steal, but I got him off waivers.
Remember we
I
were talking about that. Yeah,
Laporta was probably my best waiver pickup. I
Sonny
saw
Wings.
Yeah, I saw him week one, and I liked the way the Lions were using him. And then he didn't really do anything week one. Actually, he only had like 4 points, but like just the way they were using him in routes, I like that. And then his second week, he didn't do anything either. Like it was the two duds back to backs. But I kind of I really liked like just how involved he was with the route running and the targets and stuff like that. So literally, like I think he had a 1 p.m. game week 3. I picked him up off waivers at like 12.
Falcons.
Yeah,
Play the Falcons.
12.55, and he went crazy. And then I never looked back. He was definitely my top waiver pickup. I would say one of my best picks was probably Lamar and CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, CD actually had a great year.
Yeah, which was a shocker, right? That was one of the situations, right? Because I didn't have no third round pick, I had no fifth round pick. So everyone was expecting me to take Patty Mahomes either in the first or second round, or just a QB in general.
Yeah.
I ended up taking with my first pick, I ended up taking C-Mac, which obviously that worked out. And then my second pick, Patty was there. I think there was a couple of those top QBs. I think Herbert was still there. Everyone was expecting me to go, but who I didn't expect to see in the second round was Lamb. I thought he would have already been gone.
Yeah.
I had the fifth pick, and I just was like, man, I knew it was going to be rough with QBs if I took him, but I was like, man, I can't pass up on having a C-Mac Lamb stack. So I took Lamb, and then come the fourth round, that was my third pick of the draft, and Lamar was there, and I just took a chance. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take Lamar. And those
Which you
three,
kind of had to, because you kind of had to take him there.
yeah, and then I mean the rookies came to play for me. I took Zay Flowers, I took Jordan Addison, and then the Laporta pickup. And then I mean I still had like Pickens, who had a few blow up games. I had a few guys that definitely throughout the season ended up being high value picks. So it worked out. I mean, I was right there
I
with
think your season changed. You taking CD Lamb second, for you just not taking Mahomes. I think if you took Mahomes, you'd only be there for the championship.
No, I
Because
wouldn't.
this season wasn't as like it wasn't. It was okay, but it wasn't Mahomes standard.
No,
But
and
you
what's
had
crazy?
3 MVP caliber seasons from C-Mac, CD Lamb, and Lamar, one MVP.
Yeah, for sure. And what's
Yeah, I think he's
crazy is
kind of okay.
Lamar fantasy wise, he wasn't even as consistent. Like there was games where he gave me duds, not because he had a bad game, but just because the passing yards or the passing touchdowns weren't really there. Like he had a great game, but it didn't really translate for fantasy. But it was really like the breakout of like Jordan Addison and Zay Flowers that really helped, carry the team. And then, like you said, Laporta. I mean, those guys helped carry me. At the
Rookie.
end of the season, me and Casey were the top scorers, and he only outscored me by like less than a point. It was like a point or a point and a half. He had more points than me. And then in the playoffs, I mean, C-Mac, Lamb, and Lamar showed up big time. So it was just, that was kind of all she wrote. I kind of blew, I did the UConn thing. I kind of blew everybody out the water in the when it came time to the big games.
My last question. So this year comes out, do the back-to-back thing for the first time ever. What are your plans if you do that? What are your offseason plans if you do the first two-time champ, first back-to-back champ, three-time champ you would be? What would be do you see yourself moving on to somewhere else, or you just feel like you're gonna run that league to the ground?
I gotta reevaluate things, but in the spirit of competitiveness, I hear some talk over here in this new league, and if I go back to back, I wanna do the like they do in boxing, man. I want to unify the titles. I want to have both trophies. You know
I
what I'm
respect
saying?
that, man.
I'm up for that. I'm up for that challenge. I mean, I mess around, do the three-peat, and go over to your guy's side and just do the unbelievable, the unthinkable.
If we go to 12, you'll definitely be at the top of the list of people to get in.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And 12. I mean, 12 would be a challenge too. I mean, 12. I've done 12-man leagues, and man, the draft dries up real fast. Like
Yeah.
fourth round, you looking at third stringers.
I just feel like the draft is going to drive that fast, but it would definitely be competitive. You were on the top of our list. I know it's back and forth going, and Gabe this, Gabe that. You know how you bring energy.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
feel
yeah.
this, you feel the seat, so you
Yeah,
always
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
be one of the top of my list.
Yeah, you already know. Gabe, it don't matter if I'm first place, last place. Them anytime there's a matchup with me, it's a prime time matchup. Them seats is getting filled.
So
Facts. I don't want to stay on the old league too much, but I have one more question. Same thing we asked Casey, and I just want your thoughts. So I just want, how did you feel when everything went down, when, everything kind of blew up, me and Jay decided to leave the league? Like, how did you view that whole situation? What were your thoughts
Um, I mean, obviously, I was disappointed. I mean, we were like, this was what year 8 of. I mean, essentially, like at least for me, the best fantasy league I've ever been in a part of. So, I was definitely disappointed. I didn't look at it like obviously I was trying to stir things up. So I was playing devil's advocate and I was like, jumping side to side. Cause it was just I was just doing at first I didn't really think y'all were seriously gonna leave. So that's why I was just like whatever with the jokes. But I understood, I feel like I understood both sides. Like, we 8 years in, some people were just kind of content with what we had and what it was, and others are like, nah, like, let's continue to grow this thing, let's make it even better. And I think yeah, I think after a couple years, like we kind of stayed stuck. Like, we could have tried to add maybe different rules or different things to make it more interesting with the draft, or different things with in-person drafting. Like, we could have definitely did a few things, but I mean, it was disappointing, but it is what it is.
on?
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
think
think
it, we had a great run though, so
Yeah, I
definitely.
think it. I think it actually was in everybody's best interest, kind of, because I don't know what new stuff you added, but I did see draft night. You had like the draft cards or whatever, so that's like that
yeah.
was something new, right? So I think that pushed you to do at least some new stuff. If we were still there, we probably would have been, business as usual. So I think everybody kind of benefited from
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like you saw like definitely guys was trying to like do things to make a draft more interesting. And draft night was still fun.
it. Good.
Like we had those draft cards, that was like a new element to it. At first, you definitely it went through like a weird spell where like you got new members, so the chatter was a little like,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
really all the way there, but it was still super competitive. I mean, definitely was still a tough season, and everybody still drafted well, and there was no like, no bush league antics, nothing like that. So it was definitely
Or
still
no,
fun. Sure.
no sitting quarterbacks and
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
playoffs.
Nah,
That's
no
good.
sitting quarterbacks. I mean, and
Nah,
then
I hear you.
trade as for trades, I would say it was kind of, there definitely wasn't that crazy like 12 o'clock deadline thing like we had the year before. But I mean, it was kind of par for the course, right? I mean, when y'all were there, I think we went like 2 seasons in a row where nobody made trades because everybody was just so stingy with the negotiating.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was kind of par for the course. There wasn't really any like big trades or anything like that.
I think I cut you off, Jay. You was about to say something before.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, just piggybacking on what you said about the league. It was a great run. I just feel like at some point, like, you just want to see different things. Some people don't, and you got to move forward. But I've always credit that league because that league is probably one of that's definitely the best league I've ever been in. Like for 8 years, like no one's ever had it. Like there's never going to be chatter how it was. There's never going to be bucks. Like the things that we used to say in that chat during that league, no one's ever like.
Yeah,
Honestly, it's
that
going to
stuff.
be fights in other leagues if you talk like that. Like you
Yeah,
just
yeah,
can't.
no, that
It's
stuff
crazy,
that
man.
stuff gotta stay that stuff gotta stay dormant forever. Nobody,
Yeah, like
whoever was in those chats knows about that.
you gotta die
It's
with
funny
those.
because
Like it's just
I was gonna say it's funny because we was in the we still got the other pod chat, and even though we've been out the league so long, we was talking to Moose yesterday, him thinking like he still got that dog in him. So I had to send him a video of you cooking them in the ones the other day. So like it's still there. Like we still use that
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, it's funny because the talk is still there, but the ones I think now that I mean it's been 8 years. Obviously, a lot of us was we were a lot younger back in those one days, and that one's talk ain't like what it used to be.
Yeah, it's
Nah,
facts.
that was just probably Uno or something. Yo. We wasn't.
Yeah, it's like yeah, hop on instead of hop on the field, we like yeah,
Yeah, get on
hop on
Madden.
them sticks.
Yeah, but yeah,
Hold up, man.
it's good to talk about that, to reminisce a little bit, and it's good for everybody to kind of move on. We could transition to some NFL talk. So overall, what are your thoughts on the Jets offseason? I definitely like the Mike Williams pickup. I didn't come prepared because I didn't know he was coming on till like right before we got on, so I didn't come with a bunch of questions. But overall, what was your thoughts on their offseason?
Um, I mean, if I'm being honest, I mean, I like the off-season moves that we made, but if I'm being really honest, and I know, look, I got like two other Jet fans in another league in another group chat that they kill me for this because they a little bit younger too, but I've been with the Jets for a long time now, and it's just like after what happened last season, if I'm being honest, I'm not even really excited. I mean, it's A-Rod, but it's a 40-year-old A-Rod coming off an Achilles tear. I mean, we beefed up the O-line, so which was well needed. I mean, and the defense, oh my gosh, that move for the D-line. We gave up Bryce Huff to the Eagles, which he was a dog, but he wasn't an every down player, so I kind of understood. And it's like you don't want to pay, he probably could have been an every down player, but our D line is so competitive. Like there's probably no way he would be an every down player on our D line. But what we got in return with Reddick, I mean, I'll take that any day of the week. And then Mike Williams on a 1 year deal, kind of prove it deal. I mean, he's always injured. I mean, but a big body, big target for A-Rod. I just really honestly don't know what we're gonna get from A-Rod. So that's kind of why I'm like, I'm just like, you know, I'm really not too excited about that because it's like same old Jets, right? Stacked up defense. We got the offensive weapons, but we got no QB. Like, so I really don't know. And then it's like A-Rod might look good, but if we don't, in my mind, if we don't win the Super Bowl with him, then it's just a complete bust because it's like, well, we get him back. Maybe he has a good season. We make playoffs. But if he just leaves after that, I mean, we're basically back to square one of trying to draft a QB because I don't think Zach Wilson is. I don't think he's going to work out with us. So even though he might still stay with us this year, I don't think it's going to work out.
So has the what's the word I'm looking for? I feel like Jets fans were really hype about last season. You kind of spoke to this. Like at work, I would see people that I never even knew were Jets fans before the season. Everybody got their jerseys on, everybody's hyped. And then that injury happened. It's like everybody doesn't care
Took
anymore.
the
So
wind
going
out.
into this, is the energy going to be there again this season? Now that it's like all that hype is gone?
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think the energy is going to be the same. I think it's more like
The what if?
nobody's holding their breath. You know what I mean? Like last year, I think everybody was holding their breath. Like this is finally it. We're gonna get A-Rod for 2 years, and I mean for me, right? Considering we are gonna get him for 2 years, I mean even if we didn't win it last year, like I was just looking like, hey, if we make a run, he's with our offense for 1 year. The second year would kind of be that championship run.
Makes sense.
But now after last season, I'm just like, I don't really see it happening. I mean, Hackett, let's be honest, he's there because of A-Rod. You know what I mean? I mean, he didn't show me anything. He didn't show me anything. Like, to be honest, I thought Matt LaFleur last year with the year before with Zach Wilson had a better play calling season than Hackett did with Wilson. And I mean, I get it. They tailor made that offense for A-Rod and his abilities, but I don't know. I'm not going into this season with any like expectations or high hopes. I don't think anybody is. I think everybody's just in a wait and see kind of mode. Like, well, wait and see what we're gonna get from A-Rod.
I get
So
that.
no, go ahead.
I get that because you don't know like what's going to happen with A-Rod. Is he going to be healthy? Is he going to be rusty? A-Rod gets like weird injuries. Like A-Rod could look good, and then it'll be like a collarbone hit. Like like it's always
Yeah,
something. And the Jets, I think they put all their marble, they put all their chips to the front. Like, yo, this is the year. And then like the first 3 snaps, his Achilles goes. So that
it
defense is
was.
great though. Like that defense is, but it's like for how long are they going to hold on till that offense gets it? Because
Yeah.
now if the offense is hot, that defense might take a step back. And that defense was great last year, but they was on the field too much.
And it's crazy. It's crazy to think that with some of the additions we made on D line, and I think we're still like that defense might actually be even better this
It's
season
crazy.
than it
I'm
was
high on
last year.
Jermaine Johnson. I'm high on Jermaine. Like
Yeah, he's a dog. Jermaine Johnson's a dog. We still got
Quincy, all like
Quincy. I mean, it's like the defense, and then you add Reddick that we just picked up from the Eagles. I mean, that defense might actually be better this year than it was last year. But the thing is, that window's closing. Like I don't see them after this season. I mean, we're gonna have to pay. There's gonna be a few cats we gotta pay.
sauce.
And then also, you know, there's some of our guys on defense are also, getting older. Like Mosley's, he looked great last year, but CJ Mosley, I mean, he's getting older. I think after this year, he might take a step back. So, I think we got maybe like another 2 years, this season and maybe next season where that defense is going to be great. And then, after that, we might have to figure things out. But in my opinion, I think we need to, maybe it doesn't have to be first round, but we need to take a quarterback this in draft this year for sure. For sure.
That was gonna be
I
my
would
next
look at it
question.
as a failure if we don't take a QB in the draft this year.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question. I definitely think y'all gotta start preparing for the future. And the last thing on the Jets is you saying kind of two different things. You're like, my expectations aren't that high, but also this is the last year we really have the opportunity to win a Super Bowl. So what's like realistic expectations for this season?
Well, the expectations is Super Bowl or bust, right? I mean, we still all in on A-Rod, and by all accounts, he's like, he's saying he's motivated, and this whole
He's your
like,
best chance to get there though. Like
yeah, he's our best chance. I mean, all our marbles are still on him, and I wouldn't even be surprised. I mean, I don't know how Woody Johnson's feeling, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is like,
he going
I
for
don't,
president.
I don't
He
know
about to run for
about.
president.
I was
Woody
gonna
ain't thinking
say.
about y'all. Woody,
I,
Woody
I
about to
was
be
gonna
with Trump.
that might actually be the best thing for us. Get him out of ownership. But I honestly don't. I wouldn't be surprised if this is like Salah's last chance, right? I don't know about Joe Douglas because Joe usually is coach GM, but Joe has really he's made such great additions to the team. I mean, he failed on the most important position, which is quarterback, but you can't deny the rest of the pieces he's built around the organization on defense and offense. I mean, you
Drafted
know,
Brees,
yeah, I think
Garrett
I think I,
Wilson.
I think exactly. I think Joe Douglas is the truth when it comes to building. I mean, he helped build that championship with Nick Foles and the Eagles over there. He was, integral part of their staff. So, I think we should give Joe another chance, but I don't know if Salah will be continued. Or I mean, definitely probably not Hackett, but we need to lock down. I mean, same thing. Salah's a defensive minded coach, man. We need a coach that. I mean, I like Salah, but we need something with our offense. Our offense is always the problem. It's always the offense.
Yeah, understood. So let's keep it in the division. The road to Super Bowl is going to be hard in the AFC, but your division at least got a little bit easier with the uh, trade of Stefon Diggs from the Bills. So, what are your initial thoughts on that? I'll start with Jay. When you heard that, what did you think? Sending him to Houston.
Honestly, Houston is crazy. Houston, they were one of the surprises last year. That's probably one of the fastest rebuilds that we've seen. Houston's ready now. Like for a half, they played at Baltimore with a rookie quarterback. They played some good ball. But things happen with a young team that hasn't been there, getting a taste of the playoffs with them. They're going to be around for a while as long as he keeps
Mhm.
building and you're getting better as a quarterback, which already looks like he's going to be like a force to reckon with in the AFC South for a long time. The Bills, time was coming. You paid Josh. You paid Josh already. Once you pay that quarterback, those pieces don't last long. Like you can't have football doesn't allow you to be great. Like have a quarterback you could pay and then have everything else like as well getting paid. You can't do it. You gotta pick and choose. And they had to gut their roster. But I also think Diggs' time in Buffalo, it was kind of up. Like it was just you saw they weren't finishing either. Like their window kind of just seemed like we saw them play at the Chiefs and it was like okay, like the Bills are around, and then you see Trevor Lawrence come up, and then you see Joe Burrow coming up, and Pat's still doing what he's doing, and here comes Tua and the Dolphins, and now the Jets get A-Rod. It's like when are the Bills ever gonna, you know what I mean? Lamar gets MVP, like Steelers are trying to, recuperate. They're trying to, rebuild things over there. So it's like if it wasn't then, I don't understand what the Bills situation. And I know they got a bad cap situation. So that's life as a hard cap NFL team. Like you just if you don't capitalize in that window, it makes it tough.
Yeah. So me and JA are, of course, we watch everything, but our teams are NFC, so we might lean a little more to watching, keeping up with NFC. So do you think, Gabe, that Houston is now the second best team behind the Chiefs and AFC, or is there still other teams ahead of them?
I don't know if I would give them second just yet. I mean, I think the Ravens are still a force to be reckoned with. I mean, I know they came up short, but that and they lost some pieces obviously on defense, but I mean that defense is usually always top tier. I know the coaching always has them ready, and then I mean Lamar with another season with Zay Flowers. I mean, I think they're I feel like I say this every year, but they're like one more decent wide receiver, like a big body wide receiver away from being like that offense being insane. And Zay Flowers was amazing. Shout out to Tank Dell too. That's the other guy. He contributed to the ship over here. I had
You
I
went
had him too.
you
Uh,
went younger than the Suns over there, man.
yeah. I had the rookies going crazy. It was like the John Calipari Kentucky Wildcats. I had all the freshmen. Um, but yeah, no, I mean Houston's gonna be. I'm really really curious to how they're gonna look. They were really well coached. Shout out to that new coach over there. I mean he really kept that engine going over there with what they had. And now I mean you could argue with Diggs. I mean you throw in Diggs, you got Nico Collins, Tank Dell, and then honestly, I even Noah Brown, right? Noah Brown flashed a lot there.
Sure.
And then a lot of people forget Dalton
Oh,
Schultz.
Schultz.
I mean, Schultz was, he was that security blanket for Dak for many years. Like
And
that
they
Joe
got
Mixon's
Mixon,
over there now.
Mixon too.
and Mixon too. I mean, you're talking about
Offense
like,
is crazy.
yeah, and they all young too. And then yeah, I think they're gonna do good. I think they're gonna make a lot of noise. And their defense is looking good. I would still just put the Ravens second because of that run game and just MVP Lamar.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. But I think they could, depending on if they can take that next step, and that's really gonna rely on Strode, CJ to kind of take the next step at the QB position. I mean, if he takes that next step, they could end up being number 2 behind Chiefs for sure.
I think the biggest thing with them was keeping the OC. Keeping Bobby Sloyd
Yeah,
is going to be like he's not learning a new office down. They're just building on what they had and incorporating 2 new guys that have done it like at the top level, Mixon and Diggs. So
yeah,
it's hard to give them 2 now because you know what the Ravens are coming with their like what's about to happen. Like they're about to line up, about to have 3 tight ends, and we're just going to run it at you. But
yeah,
their issue is finishing. They're never not going to be at the top. They're in.
yeah.
A, they're just finishing. Then the AFC is packed. Yo, it's going to be brutal in the AFC. It's going to be a great quarterback that doesn't make the playoff. It's sad, but that's just the reality of the AFC now.
I'm expecting a lot of interceptions from Josh Allen.
Oh, for sure.
He's a gunslinger, so he gonna sling that thing.
Definitely.
It's gonna go the other way though.
So I think the amount of talent that they have in Houston is going to be great for the team, but it's probably going to be bad for fantasy. So as far as Diggs goes, how do we view him fantasy wise now? Now that he's in a new system and it's a lot of talent around him, maybe more than it was in Buffalo. He's not the guy anymore. How do we look at him fantasy wise?
I'm still taking him.
Yeah, I'm
CJ
still
passed that
taking
pill
him
around.
too. To be honest,
It just
I'm still taking him too because
No,
I think
I'm not saying stay away from him, but I don't think
where does he go now?
he's
Like
not that first round guy anymore.
he
Unless
might
he's
not
that
even
guy
be.
where
you could tell me differently.
he's that guy where okay, like CD goes, Chase goes, Jefferson goes. He's that guy like, oh snap, Diggs is still on the board because you're gonna forget about him.
Yeah.
You're definitely like you'll think about, oh, the Texans got so and so, but it's like, all right, well, who's really gonna get the most? Like Nico Collins broke out, no one saw that coming. So sharing the ball around with Schultz, mixing Diggs
A lot of
and Tank
mouths.
Dell, there's definitely a lot of people to feed over there. So he's gonna be a forgotten guy, probably like around the third round. It's gonna be like, oh snap,
That's fair.
Diggs could still get you 786, 2 TDs, and call it a day. It is what it is. Like Diggs is also a slot guy, so he can play all over the field. Diggs can play outside, he can play inside. So, I mean, it's going to be hard to pass on him, but he could definitely slip your mind and be there like in the fourth round.
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna say, I don't think, I think what changes is I definitely wouldn't take him first, or I don't think I'd take him first or second round. Like this year, if he was, I was looking for him back at first, maybe,
Like a 14, 15 type.
yeah, but now I think he's maybe slotted a little bit out of that. And then like you said, right? I think a lot of people are gonna sleep on him, but at the same time, I think he's like a value pick, and maybe mid late third, early fourth. To me, that's a value pick because
For sure.
I watched him a lot last season because he's in the same division as the Jets. And I know he's older now, but I didn't really see no slack in him. I mean, there was a lot of times he was still cooking DBs and our DBs who are like we got two of the best DBs in the league, in my opinion. And, there was times he had the separation. Josh Allen just was like missing him or,
You overshot or something.
yeah, things like that. And like, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out of that and he comes out, the number one wide receiver out in Houston, and
I
it's
wouldn't be
actually,
shocked with that either. I wouldn't be shocked. Like we saying, like, oh, he may
yeah,
not. He may come out and just dominate. And like Nico, you're just a solid number two, like a T Higgins. Like
yeah,
you're that
yeah,
number two. Like you're good, but like we also got a dog number one that's gonna like show himself.
I could see him honestly being in the same role he had in Buffalo, right? He's the receptions target guy, and then Nico, the bigger body, he's the red zone guy with the touchdowns, and but
Tank
I
just
think Diggs
yeah.
is still gonna have the yardage, the catches,
Yeah, I agree. I think definitely third, fourth round. That's more the question I was asking. Like, I don't think he's going to be at the top of the draft anymore. I think he's still a very reliable type of guy, but you're not looking at him the same way you were. He was just behind the Chases and the Justin Jefferson. He was just behind them last season. Now I think we look at him a little bit different. So the other big trade, and I don't think we talked about it on the last episode. I think it happened right after the last ep was Keenan Allen going to the Bears. So we knew that somebody over there was going to be a casualty of the cap. Ended up being Keenan Allen. So, what were you guys' thoughts on him getting traded and where he ended up going?
I'm surprised he went to Chicago for just a fourth rounder.
yeah,
I thought he warranted more than that, but these trades show us what we think a player's worth is. These GMs and front offices don't see it as that.
true, they don't.
It'll be interesting because he'll be with a rookie, and we'll see what like you got him, DJ Moore, you got DeAndre Swift over there, Roshan Johnson. I mean, like they got weapons, so
Yeah.
he's a security blanket as a wide receiver. Keenan Allen's always good for catches and yards. Just him staying healthy too. I think that's a great situation for a rookie to walk into though, with two vet wide receivers like that. And then they got the ninth pick as well, so that could be a rookie wide receiver. So I like it. It's just I was shocked that it was just a fourth rounder.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was shocked too. just because he's been consistently balling out for the Chargers like almost every season, and he's been healthy, right? He's actually been healthy. I think he's played at least like 14, 13 games almost every year. So for the most part, he's been healthy every season, and kind of didn't like it for Herbo. So I was a little confused, to be honest, because he's been, Keenan Allen been a Charger his whole career. So I would think, they're trying to make a run because on paper they always look good every year. So, I was a little bit I was actually surprised that they let him go, to be honest.
Their cap situation was that bad though, where like
Yeah.
the top four players, Bosa, Mac, Keenan, Mike, that was like 65% of their cap. Like, and they paid Herbo. So once you got to pay the quarterback, them nice names don't like they can't stay. Like
Yeah.
that's why you got to win within those first 4 to 5 years, and they blew every last year.
Yeah, so you made kind of a comparison that I didn't think about before, just with Diggs going in the Bill situation and Charter situation. They kind of had similar game plans this offseason. They got rid of their top guys, and they both were teams that the beginning of every year we thought would be in the mix. So going into this season, which team do you think is better after they both made huge moves?
Who? It's like who don't stink more. It's kind of hard. Like because
Yeah.
the Bills lost a lot of guys. Like Tre'Davious White is gone, Diggs is gone. Like intricate parts. I believe Poyer is gone as well, right?
Yeah, I
Poyer.
think Poyer's going too.
I think Poyer's gone. Like so, they Gabe Davis left. He's in Jacksonville. Um,
I mean,
it's hard, but
my gut tells me the Bears would be better just because the Bills are they're in the tougher
no,
division.
the Bills are the Chargers. Who's the
Oh, the
better?
Bills are the Chargers. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, either way, my gut tells me the Chargers would be better because I mean, I think the Bills with just with the defenses between the Jets defense, the Dolphins offense, and then Pat's defense is usually always like, I mean, even though it's a new regime over there, but um I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Chargers, it's hard because Chargers
It
every
is.
year when I thought they were gonna be good, they were like they were horrible.
Yeah.
So
You see
it's
that roster on paper every year, and it's like Chargers could do it, and then
well, I
they're
never
six and
understood
eight.
how I never understood. Well, you know what? Like the offense stuff, I kind of like their offense was usually always good. They always put up numbers.
They
But what
can't
I
stop
never,
nobody.
but yeah, I never understood that. I mean, you look at who they had on defense. Like, look at who they got on their D line. I mean, you got Mac and Bosa on the same D line. How do you not? I
Control
don't.
it. Like how are you not getting stops? Like it's just.
Yeah, yeah.
But the issue is Bosa get hurt, and then Derwin James kind of. It seemed like his name isn't like around big plays anymore like that. He's more
Yeah,
so 15-yard penalties than like making an impact play. Um, I just think it just needed to wash their hands from that last regime. Like it's hard to go against Harbaugh because we know what he's done in the league and then where he came from. So you're expecting them to be decent, but
yeah.
it's the NFL. Like you can't really say that for anybody. You just give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna go Bills for now because number one wide receiver is a dude they can't catch, and they spent the first round pick on him, Quentin Johnson. Like maybe he may like snap out of it and he could be that guy, but he was like a disappointment for them, and they drafted him high. So
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bills too. Because I mean, even though they lost some pieces, I think their defense is not gonna be as bad as it is sound. And I still think Josh Allen, I think he's gonna have like statistically not a great touchdown interception ratio, but he's a baller, and I think there'll be times where I could see him winning games with his leg and just doing those extending plays and winning games like that. So
Yeah, I was just gonna say because y'all were saying, the Bills lost so much. The Chargers lost pretty much their whole offense. They lost Eckler. They
both.
yeah.
lost both their top receivers. Like, who do they have right now? You said Quentin
It's
Johnson.
literally
Who do they have?
Gus Edwards, Herbo, and Quentin Johnson.
Yeah, they
And
in
I
a
think they
bad
signed
they in a
Hayden
bad
Hurst.
spot.
I think they signed Hayden Hurst. Hayden Hurst was like on IR. Like he had a serious issue. So
They
uh,
might they might have to they might have to trade up, make sure they get Lil Marv or something.
Yeah. So going back to the Bears, we expect them to take Caleb Williams at 1. So what do we think they have some good pieces, and it's gonna be a learning curve in NFL for him. But what do we think the ceiling is for the Bears this year and moving forward? Now that they hopefully got their quarterback of the future, they got decent pieces.
I mean, I
So
think it
I look,
depends on Caleb. Just
yeah,
depends
it's
on Caleb.
honestly it's him because you figure, all right, they had Tyler Badgett and Justin Fields play last year. They missed the playoffs by like a game and a half, 2 games. Now you add Keenan Allen and DeAndre Swift. You add pieces on defense. It's hard to say you can't be there for the playoffs with that team. Like, how aren't you
Yeah.
not? Because like this is the best they've ever been in some time. Like the
And,
Bears have never had 2 wide receivers like these two since
Thanks.
forever. Like I don't know, maybe like when
yeah,
Alshon was there, maybe like maybe because I don't know if
yeah.
he had anybody with him. Like
I don't
I'm
know who
not,
was with Alshon. I remember Alshon. I don't know who was with him.
I can't tell you. So like they haven't had.
Darnell Mooney.
Nah, he wasn't even there. He was probably still in high school. Like I don't think
He was
Alshon was there.
I
Alshon was
thought
there.
I thought Mooney was gonna be better than what he was. I thought he was
This
gonna
year,
be a dog, but
he'll be better this year. You see where he at. He'll be better this year. But I just like why if Caleb is just halfway decent, that's probably 8 wins.
yeah. It
Could be
depends on
decent.
Caleb, and I don't know. In the NFL, you really can't call it. I
Yeah,
mean, we've seen so
you're
many
right.
quarterbacks we thought were going to be like the next big thing, and I mean, I know y'all see those online videos. They talking about Caleb breaks down in crunch time. He can't get it done in crunch time, so we're gonna
So
see what happens.
I take that with a grain of salt because
Yeah, me
USC was
too.
probably one of the worst teams that last like college football. Like they lost. I think they beat Cal like 51-50. Cal is not like a powerhouse. Cal isn't a
Hmm.
team that you cannot get 50 points up to Cal. Like it's just you just cannot do that. But they were doing that even when they played Dion and them. Like they were in a like bro
It was like a dog match. Yeah, it was like a
like
dog.
yo like these are transfer portal dudes in their third game and like they're getting 48 points. Like there's no
Yeah,
knock on them, but I'm like if you're supposed to be that team and then they also broke down like his film like it's just him play superhero drop
yeah,
back, run around. What can you improvise? In college is more so all those dudes are not NFL talent. Like there's
yeah.
college dudes that's gonna be they're probably gonna be a doctor in about 20. Like it's just, you know what I mean? So I don't know, but I think he'll be all right as long as they
Yeah, I
got
think
him around a good coaching staff. Like this all about his development.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be good. I think it's gonna take him a maybe couple seasons to figure it out, but I think he's gonna be good.
Yeah, I would agree. Last thing on Keenan, it's the same question I had about Diggs. He typically was like a late second round, early third round type wide receiver with the Chargers. Now he's going into a place where you don't really get a lot of wide receiver success. You got a rookie quarterback. So where does he fall now in the draft?
Him and Diggs gonna be around that 40 range. I'm telling you, they're like the
Yeah, I
same.
think I
Like
honestly I think he's gonna drop even past. I mean, I think I
I think so.
grabbed in my other league, I grabbed Keenan, I think like fifth, maybe fourth or fifth round last year. I
Wow.
mean, a lot of people, I don't know, for whatever reason, I think a lot of people still, for some reason, I feel like every year Keenan always had like this injury stigma because of early in his career. Um,
He did
so I
have a bad injury like two or
he
three
got a
years
bad hammy. Yeah, he get bad
Yeah,
hammies or something like that.
yeah, because he was. I thought he was like low on draft boards this year too.
ago.
So I mean, I think
I think
he's.
that's the factor. Yeah.
I could see him dropping. Like I could see him. You see him in the fifth and sixth, and you're like, oh shoot, Keenan's still here. And I see him as another. He could be another potential steal if the hype on Caleb ends up being real.
Agreed.
I think with certain fantasy rules as well, like with our league, like now needing a rookie, like that could see him fall because if you waiting on, you know what I mean, like you need to start a rookie. So I think I honestly they seem like the same type of receiver though, like possession receiver. They can get you yards, they're gonna get you catches, they can get you touchdowns. Diggs is definitely probably the more healthier receiver, but it's just now he's with more mouths to feed as far as Keenan being with a rookie quarterback. So I wouldn't be surprised, like late third, like they're both still there because running backs will go like top. There's only a few tight ends that really show up for people. You add Laporta, Kelsey, and Kittle. After that, Hawkinson may get trusted, but not too many guys are trusted after that. So Keenan could be there.
This other question now we're on the NFC North. I was wondering, since the Vikings, we have no idea what they're going to do at quarterback. how are we viewing Jefferson this year? Because he was usually the top guy. Him and Chase was neck and neck. So now that he doesn't have a quarterback, how do we feel about him fantasy wise?
I
He
mean,
goes second overall. That's all.
yeah.
He goes second. You got to take him. You can't even play around like that.
I think he's still first round, but maybe just not like top 5. Probably go late first, early second at the latest. But
I mean, that's a big gap between Jay saying second overall and you saying in the first.
Now,
that's a big gap.
It depends what happens. I don't know. Like Sam Darnold, like not for nothing, he could probably give him the ball. It's just it may not be at the rate he's gonna get. Kirk Cousins.
He's gonna get the opportunities. He's gonna get targets, and he's talented enough that he's gonna get his. But it might not be the offense might not move like how it used to. So you can't expect like touchdowns, and you might have to expect like there's gonna be games where maybe
it's like 3 for 33, but
yeah,
you know, and maybe a 8 for 150 at some point. It's just you just don't know what the inconsistency is at quarterback. But I will say if he's there at the end of the first round, you'd be a fool not to take him with another pick coming back around. So he's going no later. He's going no later than 11. Like it's no
he's going
like,
no.
That's the latest he'll go.
Yeah, definitely.
I definitely respect that. But yeah, that was we covered a lot. I don't know if there's anything else that you want to cover before let's hop off.
Yeah, we'll save the we'll probably post the draft. I'll post the mock. We'll do that. I'll make a little graphic and post them out.
What, the 10?
Yeah, the top. Yeah.
Oh no, it's actually something else I want to do with that. So don't hold off on that.
Oh,
next episode is something I want to do. So
all right, bet I'll save
it. But yeah, good episode. Good to have Gabe on. Always gotta love Gabe's energy.
Definitely.
He always gonna come with the antics. But yeah.
Gotta reevaluate things. We'll see what
yeah, maybe that'll be title episode, reevaluate. But yeah, we'll catch next week. That was episode 5, Set a Change Pod. And that's that. We'll see y'all next time.